Welcome to No Room for Phonies, and our theme for December is finding joy. And today we're talking about joy, obviously, but joy doesn't survive passively. You have to practice it. So we're talking about practicing joy.
This is episode 150 of No Room for Phonies. And before we go anywhere else, we want to pause for a second because reaching this many conversations together feels worth acknowledging.
Exactly. Yeah. Especially because the topic today is joy, which sounds light, but actually isn't. Not when you've lived a little, not when you've carried loss or stress or health cares or disappointments or a season that asks more of you than you had to give.
A lot of people tell us, I think I've lost my joy. And
that's a common statement, especially right now.
These days,
there's a lot of stress on people.
And they say it with heaviness as if joy is something fragile that disappears the moment life gets hard.
Well, and hope, joy, faith, those are all things that are fragile. And trust and those kinds of things, they are fragile.
Yeah.
But what if that's the wrong story? And what if joy doesn't vanish? What if we just block our access to it?
Yeah, it could be. Like we could be blocked by exhaustion or grief or by expectations that things weren't fair, by bodies that hurt, by minds that won't quiet down, and definitely by a culture and a world system or situation that confuses happiness with joy and productivity with worth.
Yeah, I always say happiness is an ice cream cone and joy is deeper. So in this episode, and really this whole December series, it's about something different. Joy as practice, joy as attention, joy as something you can return to even in imperfect, heavy, unfinished seasons of your life.
Joy doesn't mean you're never sad. It doesn't mean you're pretending that everything's fine. It means you're learning how to stay present, honest, and awake to what's still real and still good.
And I've often heard it talked about as like a baseline of joy. And so sometimes you're here and sometimes you're here, but you always kind of have that baseline
humming in the background.
So today we're talking about what blocks joy, what reopens access to it, and what joy can actually look like on a hard day, not a perfect one.
So if you're listening and feeling numb, flat, tired, or disconnected, this conversation is for you.
And especially at this time of year when everybody has the expectation that you're Christmas joyful, not everyone feels that way. So you're not broken, you're not behind, and joy may be closer to you than you think.
So take a deep breath.
And lower the pressure.
And let's get into it.
So you can practice joy by focusing on gratitude, staying active and mindful, and connecting with others and nature. But other effective methods include celebrating the small wins, pursuing hobbies, and making time for rest and play. So I did a lot of research on just ways, and you call them listicles.
I was just going to say, we have a listicle
of practicing joy. So the first one they talk about is practicing gratitude by regularly reflecting on what you're grateful for, such as your friends or your family, just a comfortable bed, or keeping a gratitude journal is a way to do this.
Staying active is another way. Incorporating physical movement into your day through activities like walking, yoga, or dancing, and exercises, as we've always said, good for both your booty.
Your booty?
It could be for your body and your mood.
So connect with nature and spending time outdoors to the smell of fresh grass. Well, right now it's the smell of fresh snow. Or just
and the crisp cold
birds,
air.
Right? Like we hear them in our backyard quite a lot.
And squirrels shouting.
Yes. So engage in mindful moments. So pay attention to the present, like just your morning coffee or eating more slowly or practicing mindful breathing, that kind of thing.
Can also help. Nurture relationships, spend quality time with supportive friends and family. And you can also find joy by helping others or celebrating their successes.
And pursuing hobbies and interests. Make time for things that you genuinely enjoy. Try something new, step out of your comfort zone, and always kind of be looking for that way to be growing as a person.
Celebrate small wins. Take time to acknowledge and appreciate all the minor achievements, like finishing a difficult task or trying a new recipe or not procrastinating on something.
Well, it's just the example. I mean, I put the recipe in the blog, but for years now, since you've been like celiac, I've been trying to find a gluten-free shortbread recipe, and I finally landed on it. But I mean, it's taken me like 4 years. So I really felt that moment of like being joyful.
Yeah.
So embrace.
And I had to wait like hours till I could taste the first one, but it was definitely a win.
Embrace playfulness, not taking life too seriously, dancing, singing, silliness. And I think that comes from just hanging around with different types of people. Like our little play last night that we went to with all those little kids. It was just funny.
Just funny to laugh.
Yeah, at the kids.
Yeah. Prioritize rest. Allow your mind and body to rest and rejuvenate, and make sure you're getting good sleep and taking breaks throughout the day.
And I mean, I think this weekend is kind of an example of us. Like last weekend we were traveling, doing a lot. So this weekend we've kind of just taken, I mean, we were out last night, but we're just kind of taking a break.
Taking it easy.
Catching up on some things around the house, but
also just reading and knitting and...
So set goals and look forward. Have meaningful goals for a bucket list to work toward. Having something to anticipate can add a sense of purpose and joy during hard times. So focus on intentional small acts like practicing gratitude, engaging in mindfulness, and spending time outside and connecting. All the things that we've just kind of talked about, because they shift your perspective. So this one is just about finding joy during hard times.
And some specific ways of practicing mindfulness and reflection.
I think they're particular strategies. Like sometimes you just need to pause during your day and take a few deep breaths. And I think like we've been doing this positive intelligence thing, and I mean, I haven't loved everything about it, but I do love the pauses in the day, the forced pause.
Right.
That
it helps.
You like take a deep breath. And then it just says about journaling again, about gratitude. And then there's this thing about grounding, like actually using your 5 senses to kind of, what can I hear right now? What can I see? What can I smell?
Well, and I guess in the last year, the thing that really struck me of all the stuff we've read and podcasted about is the fact that our mind, our brain is actually trapped in a black box, and it depends on our senses to figure out, to ground what's real. But our closed-in brain also will get a thought that inserts itself in of an anxiety or a negative thought or whatever, and it thinks that there's a tiger on the loose. And so it's so important to do the grounding.
Yeah, and the meditation, even a few minutes of quiet introspection. And then engage, get outside, connect with people. And the one at the bottom is just performing acts of kindness, just doing something nice for someone else to boost your own, like sometimes from the depths of your despair, you do need to climb out and just do something.
And if you're like, if you're stuck shut in because of health, or if you just gone through a breakup or whatever, something's not great in a relationship, literally you can just Google or ask Gemini or whatever ideas for doing something for somebody else in your current state. And because it can look through libraries and centuries of literature and information, it can come up with suggestions for you on your
the last
specific.
Book I read was about deep kindness, but sometimes you just need to, from wherever you're feeling, you can just sprinkle a little kindness, and it's not a bad thing either. And then it talks about the idea of being intentional with your time and going out of your way to just plan something fun. And
as we approach the new year and everybody starts thinking of resolutions, I think time is one of the things that it's important to kind of think through and plan for. Well, we'll make it one.
And when I was a principal, the one thing that everybody always asked for, like when you said, what can I do to support you? Well, I need more time. I need time to plan. I need time. And sometimes that wasn't the truth. Like I couldn't provide more than I was providing. I can't. And so I think instead of expecting other people to provide you with that, you have to actually be intentional about the time that you have available to you. So exploring new things. And I like this one because I'm a big boundary person, but you do have to set boundaries with things that are negative influences. And that can be people or your phone or your TV or whatever it is that is kind of sucks you into this vortex and doesn't really make you feel any better.
Right. And of course, prioritize self-care. Make sure to get enough rest, eat well, stay hydrated, and stay active.
So because joy doesn't mean that you never feel sad, it just asks you to explore your sadness and not let it overwhelm you. So we have to normalize emotional expression. Like crying can make you actually feel better.
Yeah, it can release. And men, again, we don't like to dwell on emotions, and we are really good at shutting them down. But I think that then your body carries a lot of the damage because you're not working through and thinking through.
And I read about a phrase called emotional granularity or emotional differentiation, which involves precisely naming and describing our emotions, and really has been shown to help. Like that big chart you have in your office, right? Where you're showing all the different, there's not just three. You're not just sad, happy, mad, whatever.
No, like from angry, you can go from pissed off to peeved to annoyed to frustrated. Like it doesn't all have to be anger.
They really do say that learning to name it more specifically actually does help.
Because a lot of the emotions
can... you're angry when you're not is annoying.
Is it?
It is.
Yes.
So then there's a little bit about aging with joy, and I like this phrase. It says, seek out awe.
No, that's a good one.
So, I mean, we had the experience of being able to travel last weekend, and we actually did the thing on the pier.
Yeah, at St. John, New Brunswick, about my grandfather's
arrival on the pier at the Bay of Fundy, and there was a moment of awe there. Because we were standing there 100 years later, and that's a moment of awe. So I think you have to seek that out. And number 2, it said...
Get a cultural fix, like go to a sporting event or a play or a community event or a Christmas pageant.
When you think, yes. And when you think of it, like last weekend, they had this sparkle thing
downtown St. John.
And we did it.
Yep. We walked through the downtown core, and it was fun. It was a very different kind of Christmas experience in a provincial capital.
Stimulate your senses with like forest bathing or that sort of a thing, sitting on a beach, standing in the snow, whatever.
What's refeathering?
Refeathering takes a more ecological lens, imagining a kind of regeneration that happens as the home and the family transforms into something new.
I get it. So the metaphor is a refeathered nest.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It's a place of possibility and creativity and delight rather than the bird has flown the coop or left the nest or whatever. Right. It's you refeathering to be something, which I thought was pretty cool, a phrase.
And I know there's a lot of pressure for men to buy their wives flowers, but I'm glad you've arrived at the point where you just buy them yourself.
And obviously maximize mobility and stay up on tech.
Definitely stay up on technology.
So joy is an inner, deep-seated state and not just the fleeting happiness of the ice cream cone that can be cultivated by focusing on the gratitude, being present, connecting with others, finding purpose. And that often comes through a deep spirituality, especially as you age, and choosing your response to circumstances, even difficult ones, by embracing the journey and nurturing the wonder. And I think that's harder to do when a situation is dire. I don't think we embrace the wonder when we were diagnosed, but I think you do have to get perspective on things.
Yeah, well, definitely after the surgery, with just the wonder of the technology that is now available. Yeah. That was something that did strike me.
But life, it brings you back to this point where life is fleeting.
Yeah.
And so to embrace the joy in the moment is important. And it is an active choice to savor life's goodness and recognize your innate completeness and find beauty and meaning in everyday things, even
in the hardship.
The hardship, which we did when we knew that things weren't going well. We still celebrated Christmas. We still, and I often think of, I watch The View, so I often think of Anna Navarro, who's a very serious person. Like, she's a political commentary. That's her job. And she knows the bad things and understands them probably better than the rest of us, but still says we have to find joy in between thinking about some of these things and moments.
So then more research turned up 10 core truths about joy.
So joy is eternal. It comes from within, from recognizing and nurturing your natural state, and it's not from external acquisition.
Right. So it's internal.
Yeah.
It's a choice and an action. You have power to let your heart be joyful by choosing your response to situations.
And often when I read this, it makes me feel a little bit about what marriage is, because it's a choice and an action. It comes from within. It's not fleeting. It's not fleeting happiness. It's just a deeper, more durable experience than just temporary pleasure.
Right. And it's found in hardship. Finding joy in difficult moments like holding a child or knowing loved ones are safe transforms the heart.
Right. And so that's, I think, in hardship is when you have to look for those small moments. And it's a journey, not a destination. Joy unfolds through those small, consistent decisions and enjoying the process, not by chasing things.
Yeah. It glorifies God for many. For believers, joy in God clearly reveals his or her worth and magnifies their glory.
So it is very religious for many people. Like,
yes.
It is
spiritual or religious.
Spiritual or religious. And I mean, God for many people is a very different, like, who they worship is not the same for everybody. And it's cultivated by wonder, by reclaiming a sense of wonder and seeking out everyday beauty. And that's what sustains it.
It's fueled by purpose and love. Jesus' joy came from fulfilling his purpose and love, revealing its deep roots in meaning.
Yeah. So it goes beyond that to our finding our purpose and our love in what we have to be careful that it's not about what we do. It's about what we are within ourselves.
Right.
And even
it's hard because there's actions, there's
doing, not
being kind.
What you do as a mother or a father or a boss or a whatever. It's that whatever is inside you. And I think if we focus less on making sure that we're like just the act of doing and become the act of being, then the doings happens
out of that. Yeah.
It's an act of surrender. Sometimes joy is found by surrendering to the difficult. And it's also about being present, putting away distractions, and then deeply engaging with the moment, the people, whatever. And then just finally, it's just kind of a wrap up, the simple habits for preserving your own radiance or your joy. Moving your body in ways that feel good and strong.
Radiate.
Nourishing yourself with intention, not just sitting and eating.
Chips for me. Protecting your skin without obsessing over a crazy routine.
And managing stress before it manages you. And I like that phrase. Prioritizing sleep again. And staying hydrated beyond just drinking water. Be mindful of things that dehydrate you, like alcohol and all that stuff.
Caffeine.
And find a great herbal tea and eat lots of hydrating foods, fruits and vegetables, right? And cultivate genuine connections, I guess, and don't hang on to things that drag you down.
Yeah. So there's like the myth out there, I guess we've been talking about it the whole episode so far, is that you don't lose joy.
But you lose access to joy. And a lot of people tell us, I think I've lost my joy. And they say it with this heaviness as if joy can actually disappear.
And the myth underneath that is, if you don't feel joy, you must have done something wrong, or you must be broken.
Right, and that goes along with one of my biggest pet peeves, and that's the idea of prosperity gospel. You have to do something to deserve things, and that's, you deserve things just by being.
Right. So then we just have a couple questions we're going to ask each other and have spontaneous answers. So why do you think so many people assume joy disappears when life gets hard?
I think it's cultural. I think it's what we see on TV. I think it's what is perpetrated by culture. And I also just think it's human nature to feel shame.
Yeah, and to slide towards the negative. Yeah, and I think consumer culture plays on lack. So they want to point out what's disappointing so that you try to buy your way out of it.
Yeah, when I was teaching, it was called... Deficit model thinking. And I think I think we have to work. So that's my feeling.
Right.
What expectations do we carry about joy that might be unrealistic or even unfair?
Well, definitely when we expect all the people around us to always be joyful so that we can be joyful.
Right.
And that's kind of unfair, I think.
And I also think that I think sometimes we expect things to go well all the time, but actually life is hard.
Well, and it's a mixture always of the bitter and the sweet. So
it's always that, well, can I feel joyful even when things don't turn out exactly the way, I think they should? And can I pull myself together and be whatever, even though I didn't get exactly what I thought I wanted?
Yeah. So what if joy isn't gone? What if something else is happening?
I don't think I understand that. What if something else is happening?
Yeah, well, for me, that is the joy is actually there. No. The joy is there, but it's a temporary disruption that is throwing you off and making you blind.
Well, and I think that's kind of where the meditation and the grounding all comes back in, because you have to learn some strategies to bring you back from the edge.
Yeah.
Yourself.
Yeah. Not
just always relying on somebody else to do it.
So for me, my real blockers are if harmony is gone in the situation I'm in, then I feel the world is ending.
Right.
So that's one of my...
And for me, the blocker to joy is when people aren't dealing with the disharmony.
Interesting.
Right? Yeah. I don't like false,
phony. Well, here we go. That's why we're called what we are called.
When you think about times you felt cut off from joy, what were the real blockers?
Yeah, that's what we just
What kinds of seasons make joy hard to reach?
Well, being sick. Yeah. I just mean at the level of having a cold or flu. Yeah. That's kind of hard. And
when you're going through something with your family or whatever, or you just feel spiritually wondering about things.
So what have you done personally, big or small, that helped you reconnect with joy after a tough stretch?
I mean, for me, joy comes from understanding what the problem is and then moving forward. If I feel like I'm stuck, that I have a harder time. If I feel like, okay, I can figure this out, I can move forward, I can have a realistic conversation with someone to solve a problem.
Yeah. But it's hard when the other person isn't willing to have that conversation. Or isn't capable. So right? Then you have to figure out a different way to arrive at joy.
And I mean, when I think about certain situations like that, or certain relationships that even I haven't been able to resolve right now, that...
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. How did your own recovery journey shape how you understand joy now? Did you have a shift in what joy really means?
Yeah. Well, during the times of uncertainty when it felt like death was closer because of the prostate cancer, then it was definitely, I want to make the most of every day. And then since I'm cancer free or in remission or whatever, it's pretty quick how the trivial stuff of life will sway me away from joy. But now I have that grounding to go back to, like, no, you've been through like an awareness of death being close. So so I would say that
and
has
I would
really helped.
say that, like, looking on and trying to be that, I have had more of a perspective on what other people are going through, and that our situation wasn't unique.
Yeah.
And even though, it might have not been a cancer diagnosis, I think that, your perspective on what is owed to you in this world shifts, right?
It does.
Because we're not owed.
No.
And when I look at people who are, what's the word? And I'm trying to...
Entitled? I don't know. How did I know what that word was supposed to be?
So anyway.
Okay. So as we wrap up this conversation on joy, we want to leave you with something simple and honest.
Right. Joy isn't a mood you wait for. It's not something you earn by getting life right. And it's definitely not proof that everything is okay.
Right. Joy is often quieter than we expect. It shows up when we protect our sleep, when we move our bodies with care, when we tell the truth about what we're actually doing.
About how we're actually doing. And telling the truth about how we're actually doing to ourselves too. And when we notice beauty, even if briefly. And like, I sometimes say to you, like, you'll say my neck is stiff and whatever, and I'll ask you, is there something going on at work that's bothering you? No, nothing's bothering me. But I think we forget that our bodies tell the tale.
Yeah.
So that's the moment where you have to be honest and say, yes, I do believe that this is actually, because the more that we talk about it, the better it is. Because I think joy shows up the most when we stop demanding perfection from ourselves, like, even to the point of, I have to be able to do everything and not get bothered by it.
Right.
And when we let sadness exist without letting it run the whole story, you can have a sad moment, but still have an overall joyful experience. When we reconnect with people, with nature, with meaning, with and whatever your spiritual path is.
So if this episode stirred something, even a little, maybe that's a doorway. Not back to some older version of joy, but forward into a deeper, more durable one.
And again, I'm just going to say that whole idea of a baseline of joy and moving up or down doesn't mean we've lost our baseline. It just means life is
shifted.
That, right? So as this year closes, ask yourself just one gentle question. What helps me reopen access to joy in this season with this body, this life, just as it is?
If this podcast episode has helped you think, feel, or breathe a little differently over the 150 episodes.
And we're really glad you're here.
And thank you for listening.
Thank you for staying honest, and we'll see you next time on
No Room for Phonies,
where we will be talking about the science of joy, because there's a lot of science involved in it too.
Awesome.
And if you like this, you can hit like and subscribe to our podcast, No Room for Phonies.
Thanks for listening.